The longest game in the history of Major League Baseball in terms of time is 8 hours and 6 minutes. It occurred on May 8, 1984, in a game between the Milwaukee Brewers and Chicago White Sox. For obvious reasons, it ran extremely long due to it going a mere 25 innings. In terms of non-extra inning games, the longest 9-inning game in MLB history took 4 hours and 50 minutes, and it occurred in Game 2 of the 2020 Wildcard Series between the New York Yankees and Cleveland Indians. While that game holds the record to this very day, it's not the topic of the video. The game that I want to talk about is the one that used to hold the record. At the time, it broke the record for longest non-extra inning game, it held the National League record for 15 years, and above all, it was one of the greatest regular season games in the history of Major League Baseball. The game in question occurred on October 5th, 2001. The visiting Los Angeles Dodgers are on the road to face the San Francisco Giants. With 3 games left in the regular season, this match was all but meaningless for the Dodgers. They had a tremendous start to the season, being as many as 17 games above 500 and being in first place in the West Division as late as August 10th. However, despite having the best record in the National League as late as July 28th, they proceeded to go 23-31 and were eliminated from postseason contention with an 84-75 record entering this day. On the other hand, this game was critical for the Giants. The club was playing mostly 500 baseball for much of the season, having a record of 52-49 on July 24th. Following that, San Francisco went on a tear, going 37-21 to get right back in the playoff picture with an 89-70 record. However, they still had 2 major obstacles in the way. With 3 games left to play, they stood 2 games behind the Arizona Diamondbacks for the National League West Division and 2 games behind the Houston Astros for the only wildcard spot. The Astros and Diamondbacks were playing other teams that day, so should they both win and the Giants lose, San Francisco would be eliminated from postseason contention. Although, should the Giants win and at least one of those teams lose, then San Francisco would be only a single game back with 2 games to play. For practical reasons, this was a must-win to save the Giants' season, but there's more context to understand. The Giants were one of the best teams in baseball in the late 90s and early 2000s. From 1997 to 2001, they had the 4th most wins of any team in Major League Baseball. In spite of that, they had 0 playoff series wins and were combined 1-6 in the postseason. They couldn't get over the hump and absolutely needed to put those failures behind them with a deep postseason run here in 2001. Just to add more chaos to everything, the huge playoff implications wasn't even the main focal point of this game. Entering this day, left fielder Barry Bonds had tied Mark McGwire's record for most home runs in a single season, having an even 70. San Francisco was trying to save their season, while one of baseball's most famous and coveted records was on the cusp of being broken. Speaking of Barry Bonds, there was even more at stake for him and the Giants, for you see, this was the last year on his contract. With San Francisco clinging to dear life for a playoff spot, missing the entire postseason and losing one of the greatest hitters of all time was a realistic possibility. Imagine being one of the top 4 teams in baseball for half a decade, only to come away with a single playoff game victory, then proceed to lose your legendary hitter. No pressure at all, but wait, there's even more. Arizona came away with a win before the first pitch was thrown. As for the Astros game,
the Cardinals are leading Houston 1-0, and they are now in the 7th inning.
We'll get back to them later. Anyway, let's get to the game itself. San Francisco had Sean Estes take the mound to face Los Angeles. In 4 starts versus the Dodgers in 2001 entering this game, Estes had an ERA of 9.16 in 19 1/3 innings pitched. Yeah, maybe somebody else should have started. Who was the Giants manager that made this decision? Oh, it's Dusty Baker. That makes sense. Moving on. To nobody's surprise, the Dodgers pounced on Estes right away. Marquise Grissom led off with a single to start the night. Mark Grudzielanek followed with a single of his own, as did Sean Green in the next at-bat to load the bases with nobody out. Gary Sheffield followed with another single, driving in 2 runs, giving Los Angeles the early lead. In the next at-bat, Catcher Benito Santiago tried to pick off Sheffield at first base, but the ball got away from the first baseman, allowing Green to advance to third. That error would be important, as the batter, Paulo Duca, would drive him in on a sacrifice fly to make it a 3-0 game. After a strikeout of Adrian Beltre, Jeff Rabelais doubled into left center field to set up runners on second and third. Following that, Dusty Baker had seen enough and went to the bullpen to bring in Mark Gardner. In the biggest game of the year, Estes couldn't even make it out of the first inning, and the Giants' chances for a postseason appearance appeared to have evaporated only 15 minutes into the contest. In the first batter he faced, Mark Gardner would intentionally walk Chad Kreuter to load the bases for starting pitcher Chan-Ho Park. Entering this game, Park had 340 career at-bats, batting .168 with 21 RBIs. On the season, he was hitting .132 with an abysmal .042 average in his previous 12 games. You can probably guess what happened here.
And the strike 2 pitch, breaking ball flared to right, coming up in a hurry, and it is going to drop in front of Vanderwall. 2 runs will score. Going to third is Kreuter, and the Dodgers lead 5-0 in the first inning.
Both of those runs were charged to Sean Estes, where, in an even 10 innings pitched against Los Angeles, he allowed 24 runs for an ERA of 10.60. Gardner induced a pop-out in the next at-bat for the final out, and after approximately 24 minutes, the top of the first inning ends with the Dodgers up 5-0. To add some insult to injury, the Astros tied the game at 1 in the 8th inning against the Cardinals, so that game was still up in the air. Dodgers starter Chan-Ho Park had faced the Giants 5 times already in 2001, where he had a decent 4.64 ERA in 33 innings. He was very streaky, so anything could happen. Well, there was one thing we knew that would happen, and it's when Barry Bonds stepped to the plate.
The 1-0 pitch on the way. The fastball hit into deep right center field. It is away out and gone.
The entire Giants dugout came out to mob Bonds as he touched home plate, including Bonds' own son, as he picked him up amid the celebration. As the high fives and congratulations continued, Bonds went into the dugout to personally telephone his father about the news, as he couldn't be in attendance. Bonds took a curtain call, greeted more of his family and friends, and in total, approximately 5 minutes of baseball was suspended due to the celebrations. In the following at-bat, Jeff Kent flew out the center, and after 45 minutes did the first inning finally come to a close. In the top of the second, Shawn Green hit a 1-out double to damper the crowd once again. In the next at-bat, Gary Sheffield drove him in on a bloop RBI single, and the Dodgers got that run right back to go up 6-1. Just to disappoint Giants fans even more, the Astros had taken the lead over the Cardinals.
The Astros settled for that 1 run. So they go to the bottom of the 9th inning in St. Louis. Houston 2 and the Cardinals 1.
San Francisco escaped the inning without allowing another run, but now they face the ultimate dire situation. Should the Astros hold on for the win, they risk elimination right here. Needing to overcome a 5-run deficit to remain alive, the Giants mustered a rally in the second. Andres Galarraga led off with a double, John Vanderwall walked, and with 1 out, Pedro Feliz reached on what should have been an inning-ending double play, but it turned into an error. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Now bases loaded with 1 out, Eric Davis came to the plate to pinch hit for the pitcher, and I want to quickly discuss this player. 2001 was Davis's 17th and final season in the big leagues, as he announced his plan to retire at the end of the season.
And now finally, after a long and distinguished career, this will be the end for him on Sunday.
There are multiple videos on YouTube that discuss Davis's career, so I won't go into the details about him, but all you need to know is that had he stayed healthy, he could have been one of the all-time greats. At age 39, he spent the entire year with the Giants as a bench player and was struggling offensively all season. The team needed a big hit here now more than ever, especially when during the at-bat did Vin Scully confirm that the Astros had won.
Turned around now and just beat the Cardinals.
In a 2-strike count, Davis delivered big for the Giants.
Eric Davis. Chan-Ho Park delivers, line drive down the left field line in the corner. Fair ball. Not only 1 run, but 2 runs. However, someone has touched the ball down there. The ball is dead, so stopping at third is Feliz.
After the fan interference, the umpires got together and awarded Feliz home plate, giving Davis a clutch 3-run double, his 1,430th and final hit in his career. San Francisco wouldn't score again that inning, and we head to the third with Los Angeles up 6-4. To continue the Seesaw affair, the Dodgers weren't done scoring. With 2 outs and no one on base, Chan-Ho Park drew a walk. Park, who has a career 21 adjusted OPS and over 500 plate appearances, was on base for the second time this game. The next batter, Marquise Grissom, promptly hit a 2-run home run to dead center field.
He swings and drives one into left center field. Bernard is on his horse. However, this one is gone. And for Marquise Grissom, feast or famine.
Trying to play spoiler against their bitter rival, LA widens the gap again to go up 8-4. Leading off the bottom of the third was Barry Bonds, and you can probably guess what happened again here.
The 1-1 pitch to Bonds, a towering fly ball to center. Back goes Grissom to the wall, gone!
Add another home run to Barry Bonds' total, and the Giants keep crawling back. By the way, that home run by Bonds was at around the 90-minute mark for this game. Still nobody out in the third. That would be the only run that frame, and if you think the game would pick up the pace soon, you are terribly wrong. Just like Bonds, Sean Green led off the fourth inning with a home run.
He's over the top, and Green drives one to right center deep. Back goes Vanderwall, and that one is gone.
That was Green's 49th home run of the season, and Los Angeles took the life back from the Giants to lead 9-5. Still 9-5 in the bottom of the fourth, reliever Aaron Foltz, who came into pitch in the top half of the inning, hit a 1-out single. 3 times this game has a pitcher come to bat, and all 3 times they've reached base. On the very next pitch, Marvin Bernard lined a double into right field to set runners on second and third. After a flyout, Barry Bonds came to the plate, and this time, the Dodgers decided to walk him intentionally. While Bonds himself couldn't be the tying run, the next best option was the previous season's MVP, Jeff Kent. In the biggest at-bat of the season, the Giants need a hit here now more than ever.
The 2-0 pitch on the way. Swung on, a slicing drive into right center. That one is going to go to the wall. Everybody will score. Kent is on his way to third. The throw to third is out at third, but 3 runs are in.
The Giants just keep coming back no matter what. They've trailed entering every turn at bat, but the lead keeps shrinking. Not even halfway through, and this game has passed the 2-hour mark. Moving along, the 5th inning was the most uneventful one of the game, as neither team scored and only one batter reached base. In the top of the 6th, Gary Sheffield homered for his 3rd hit of the game, and now it's 10-8 in favor of Los Angeles. Just like we've seen so many times already, that lead would not last for long. In the bottom half, Marvin Bernard singled with 1 out to bring Rich Aurelia to the plate as the tying run.
And a drive to left field and deep. I think it's going to go right down the line and gone.
Down 5 runs, with elimination on the horizon, the Giants have crept all the way back. The Giants failed to score again this inning, so it was 10-10 heading to the 7th. So far, we've seen 20 runs, 22 hits, 7 pitching changes, and we're at the 2-hour and 55-minute mark. Leading off the 7th, Jeff Rabelais hit a chopper back up the middle, to which Aurelia fields it and fires to first, but the throw goes wild and Rabelais winds up at second base. He would have been safe at first even if the throw was good, but this gaffe would come back to haunt the Giants. The next batter, Chad Kruger, hit a ground ball to second, moving Rabelais to third base on the out. Would it have been a double play if not for the error? Maybe, but it's certainly likely Rabelais wouldn't be at third in that scenario. The Giants opted to intentionally walk pinch hitter Dave Hansen to set runners on the corners and 1 out. At the plate now is Marquise Grissom.
And little dribbler up along third, charging it is Guzman, double clutch, and pulls Santiago away from the plate.
Ruled the fielder's choice, another blunder by the Giants infield this inning has allowed the Dodgers to retake the lead. Rabelais got to third thanks to Aurelia, and even with the double clutch, a good throw still may have beaten him to the plate. I ought to mention that the third baseman who made that throw, Edwards Guzman, was brought into the game only 1 inning earlier in a double switch, and he was a very inexperienced third baseman. Entering this game, He had only played 11 games at third base at the major league level. Furthermore, in the minor leagues from 2000 to 2001, Guzman only played a combined 22 games at third. For the shabby plays made so far, the defense made up for it in the very next at-bat.
And that's going to be a base hit into right field. Christensen is going to be waved in. The throw by Dunston. He's going to be out at the plate.
Funny enough, the right fielder Sean Dunston was just brought into the game following that Dodgers run and helped out the team immediately. A lifetime shortstop, maybe he should have been the one to take over third base. With 2 outs now, Sean Green would strike out to keep it a 1-run game heading to the bottom of the 7th. The Giants went down 1-2-3 that inning, and relief pitcher Felix Rodriguez threw a scoreless frame of his own in the top of the 8th to keep it 11-10. In the bottom of the 8th, the first 2 hitters were retired, but with 2 outs, Barry Bonds came to the plate. Reliever Matt Hergis was taken out, and in came 44-year-old pitcher Jesse Orosco. For how incredible Barry Bonds was, Jesse Orosco was his one weakness. Entering this game, Bonds was just 3 for 22 against him and would finish his career 4 for 28. Let's look at the situation at hand again. 1-run game, 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. A loss here and San Francisco is eliminated from playoff contention. A win will extend their season for at least one more day. At bat is one of the greatest hitters ever to play the sport in Barry Bonds. 72 home runs during the season so far, 2 in this game, and 1 more here could tie it all up. All that stands in the way is one of the very, very, very few pitchers with significant success against Bonds. So what happens here?
And he walked him.
That was a lot of build-up for an anticlimactic moment, but it does put the tying run on base with Jeff Kent coming to the plate. Dodgers manager Jim Tracy goes to the mound to take out Orosco and bring in Jeff Shaw. With a golden chance to make up for his base running mistake earlier in the game, Kent would wind up flying out to right field for the third and final out. Still 11-10 Dodgers. When the top of the 9th started, we hit the 4-hour mark. And a reminder that we hit the 3-hour mark at the beginning of the 7th inning. Kind of amazing how it took a full hour to complete 2 innings despite only 1 run scoring. In the 9th inning, Rob Nen took over on the mound and worked around a couple of base runners to keep Los Angeles without a run. Down to their final 3 outs of the game, Andres Galarraga led off with a walk to put the tying run on base. He remained there with 2 outs, and Sean Dunston came to the plate but grounded out to second base for the 4th out to end the game, thereby eliminating the San Francisco Giants from playoff contention. I think we can all agree it's one of the wildest, rigid, and most emotional games of the 2001 season. On a night where baseball's most popular record was broken, this game ended in a massive disappointment. In the footnotes of this game is the runtime, 4 hours and 27 minutes, breaking the previous record by 5 minutes. What was at one point the longest game in MLB history turned into one of the most memorable ones as well.